Hello, today I want to talk about borderline personality disorder and how it can create a shield between you and, well, yourself. As a diagnosed borderline, I struggle deeply with my own identity. To be honest, I don't have a true idea about who I am or who I want to be. People tell me that's normal, I'm young, it's okay to be unsure about your decisions, but I don't think they understand the depth of the situation. I'm not just unsure about what I want to do for a living or if I want to get married, as a normal woman my age might be unsure about. It's so much more than just that. Who I am as a person, my personality traits, my hobbies, my beliefs, I don't know what they are. I tend to cling to others to tell me what they are. I look at others to get a sense of who to be or how to act. I latch on to people for my identity. Like most borderlines, my emotions and mood also depend on others. I tend to base the way I feel or act off of how people are acting towards me or how people act in general. Those with borderline have heightened sensitivity as they are very empathetic. We pick up subtle shifts in tone, atmosphere, and facial gestures. If someone around them is happy, they may feel intense joy. However, if a partner, friend, or coworker is stressed, sad, or angry, the individual with BPD or borderline often absorbs that emotion as well, experiencing it just as intensely as if it were their own. Since I have such an unstable sense of identity, I do unconsciously mirror the emotional states and behaviors of those I am with at the moment. I deeply believe someone with BPD is either everyone's favorite person or least favorite person at one point, as those with borderline mimic those close to them in subtle but quite astonishing ways. Depending on the kind of person you are, that can either be a blessing or a curse. I've realized humans tend to hate themselves in the sense they hate when they meet someone almost so identical to them. Now, if you do like being imitated, you may love someone with borderline, that is, until they split on you or meet someone whose behavior is easier or even more fun to copy. I can be whoever you want me to be. I can be your twin, but only when you treat me the way I think is fitting. Once the trust is lost, you've lost me. Or should I say, you've lost yourself too, because I don't care about impressing you anymore and imitating you. I remember dating this guy I met off the internet, and he had told me I catfished him. Later on in our relationship, I asked confused, "You mean how I look? You thought I would look different in real life?" He replied, "No. Your personality, you told me all these things that followed my beliefs, and now I recognize they were lies." I personally wouldn't say they were lies because I had convinced myself they were real, that they were a part of who I was. Those with BPD or borderline act so well sometimes, they end up convincing themselves they have finally found who they are as a human. The most basic knowledge about borderline personality disorder is that those who suffer from it have a fear of abandonment. This fear usually stems from childhood or even adulthood, depending on when you've been diagnosed and what has happened in your past that may have contributed to the diagnoses. The fear of abandonment that borderlines hold consumes them a lot of the time. For those with borderline, this fear goes above and beyond feeling anxiety or being clingy and panic of losing who they want most. We actually alter our personalities to what we see fit in the moment so people will stay, no matter what it is. The sad and honest truth may include unwanted sex or abuse. We rather stay no matter the pain until we split and pull ourselves away from the threat. It can happen randomly, splitting, or in a lot of cases, it can happen over very minor things. I think it's a trauma response and kind of comes and goes depending on what triggers you as an individual. Going back to my main point, the way I look at my own personal identity crisis is somewhat like a midlife crisis, but forever. No matter what I buy or what I do or don't do, I feel as if I will never truly know who I am as a person unless I stop surrounding myself. Going back to my main point, the way I look at my own personal identity crisis is like a midlife crisis, but I believe it's somewhat forever. No matter what I buy or what I do or don't do, I feel as if I will never truly know who I am as a person unless I stop surrounding myself around other people. So that's what I did. As an experiment, I've spent the last almost 6 months, I believe, in isolation. I don't really have friends anymore or get close to people whatsoever. I mean, I live with my parents, so I do occasionally talk to them, but I've spent my entire childhood trying to win approval from them and nothing's changed. So at this point, my body doesn't quite count them anymore, and I've given up trying to please them. And this past half a year of really sitting with myself and myself only, I can say with confidence I still don't have a single clue what I want out of life or who I am. But I am starting to get a better idea. My thoughts can finally process important information and things instead of worrying about socializing and relationships and keeping this person I love so much or I want so much near me. I'm not suggesting isolation for borderlines or those experiencing mental illness, but sometimes it just happens, and when it does happen, it can feel great. It feels like a newfound freedom in a way, and I finally feel a little bit more like who I think I am. The only way to truly understand who you are as a borderline is to recognize that you have a special dynamic, evolving perception of who you may or may not be, and you need to give yourself grace as you explore your likes and dislikes and even imitate those you admire, because at the end of the day, it's not your fault.